Oh boy, because things were not complicated enough as they were, we now learn that Donald Trump has ordered the Department of War to start testing nuclear weapons. Yes, guys, as always, welcome to More Survivalist channel. If you want to learn more about preparedness and survival, serious without the fantasy and fear-mongering that you often see, you have the channel with a ton of information. I always recommend my books as well, Street Survival Skills and Surviving the Economic Collapse. You have them available in the links there below. You will also find another link there below for a book that I don't even have in my hands right now, which is this one that I wrote, Lucas Dreams. It's a children's book. Yes, it is a children's book. I have 3 kids. My youngest son is 7, and I've read plenty of these books, and they've always, some better than others, and I want something that has, the message, not the message from the left. I want a book, a children's book. This is not a prepper book. It's an actual children's book, 35 pages long. It's just for a child that is learning how to read. But most of all, it's intended for parents to read along with their children as they try to read themselves. I've done this. I've done this for over 20 years, man. Because I have a 23-year-old, I have a 17-year-old, and I have a 7-year-old. Yes. So I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've never found a book that had the kind of message, the values, the more traditional, I don't know, you want a little bit more based, without doing anything. It's not a political book. It is just about tradition, family, and those values that we consider important. I think there's nothing as important as to pass that along to our children. I think that very few things leave as much of an impression on a child as some of the first things they actually read and understand. Anyway, I don't want to make this super long, but if you're interested in this sort of thing, you will have the link for Lucas Dreams there below. And of course, it definitely helps me out. I mean, this is what I actually do. This is super helpful for supporting the channel and everything I do. I do it with a lot of passion, with conviction, and well, I hope that translates into the book. I wish I had one, and when I get it, I'm gonna do a little bit of a read-through, giving this just 35 pages long. Let's get to this. Let's talk about the nuclear annihilation of our planet. Not really. It really is not helping. It's all of the saber rattling, all of the fear mongering. So I was reading in some other outlets like this, Swiss Info. This is actually pretty good, and it's in Spanish and English. If you want to check it out, swissinfo.ch, you may want to do that. Apparently, Trump heard that other countries were testing nuclear weapons, when actually what was being tested was the deployment, missiles and that submarine that the Russians have right now. And he was like, hey, we're not doing any tests. And he heard that the United States hasn't done any nuclear weapon testing since 1992. And he said, well, we have to do that. No, the thing is, the United States does testing of the missiles and the deployment, not the actual explosion. There's really not much to be learned as of blowing up nukes. At this stage, we kind of know already what happens, and the downside of any nuke that you detonate anywhere in the world is massive. It's not just PR, and it's usually not worth the squeeze. But he heard that it hasn't been done since 1992 and said, what the hell, we're gonna do it right now. Because of other countries' testing programs, they have instructed that Department of War to start testing nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That's the confusing part. No one has been doing this. The last one to do this, I believe, was the United States. And it's not as if you cannot know if someone else tried a nuke. As far as I know, there are systems that globally can detect not only nuclear explosions, but massive explosions. Any big explosion, you have, even in terms of seismic movement and whatnot, you can tell if there was a big explosion, let alone a nuclear explosion. So it would not be something you can easily hide. The process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention on this matter.
Of War to start once again testing nuclear weapons and wants that process to begin immediately. He said the new testing program is in response to other nations testing their weapons. Here with a lot more on that as we await the start of this historic sit-down between the president and President Xi of China. We have Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas with us. Senator, good to have you. I can go back. I'll read the entire statement because I think it's deep and I think it's profound and I think it's important. And I think it really is a moment that we better pay very close attention to. And as blunt as the president was, he was blunt here. The U.S. has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete.
I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm pretty sure Russians do have more nukes. You know, not knowing exactly the size or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure Russia has more nukes. I mean, how many do you need? Do you need 1,000 nukes? 4,000, 5,000? I think that Russia's along those lines. The U.S. very close. Anyway.
Update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but had no choice. Russia is second. China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an
sentiment that President Reagan had in the 1980s. They both regretted the necessity of the day.
Okay, I won't waste your time or mine with more. You basically know what this is about. But if you look up at actual independent media, the confusion is that it's not other countries testing actual nuclear explosions. Many of these countries are testing, as well as the United States, testing the deployment, the systems, the missiles that you have to reach, right? We'll see what happens. Maybe this is something that was in fact a confusion in terms of what it means that these other countries were testing and what Trump thought that involved. And if that's the case, you won't see any nuclear bomb testing as an actual explosion, and it will be just left at that. It could also be a little bit of saber rattling, which is super common these days. Hell, Putin does it all the time. Russia is constantly threatening the world with nuclear annihilation, and yet here we are. It's been many years now since Russia was just about to, Russia's just about to throw nukes in Ukraine, which would make zero sense because it is downwind from a neighboring country, so no. It is Iran that, according to some prime ministers from some welfare states that are only supported by the United States, are just weeks away from making a nuclear bomb, even though they've been saying that for over 30 years. So no. That's the world in which we're living, guys. You have to stay cool, keep level-headed, and don't let fear-mongering get the best of you. You don't want to get this into your head. The reality is playing politics, threats, trying to keep everyone on the edge, and to a great degree is trying to keep people scared. So careful with that.